All right, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I think we're finally on double digits. I think this is the 10th episode if my notes are right. So pretty exciting, pretty cool. As always, I want to thank you all for just, the awesome support. You guys just, again, being there and, supporting the podcast, supporting the channel, and just getting, a lot of wisdom from this. Again, we're all in our early 20s trying to figure things out. So the more things I can do and serve you guys, the better. So I just want to thank you guys for all the support as always. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So this is, again, another important topic that's not talked about a lot. And it's actually, again, one of my personal favorites, which is being alone. And not only being alone, but being comfortable being alone. Because I feel like in today's society with Instagram and, Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and blah, 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 there's so many different things out there that the world is so small that people aren't used to being alone. And it's hard because I have, a lot of good friends of mine that will come up to me separately and kind of open up and say, I don't have comfort in my own thoughts. I don't have a confidence in my own thoughts. I don't like, dealing with my thoughts and my emotions in my head. So therefore I'm going to use drugs and alcohol, or I'm going to distract myself with something by always being busy and blah, 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 blah. And being busy is good. Distracting yourself, not so much, but being busy is a good thing. My point I'm trying to be at, guys, is that the most important thing about being alone is it's a good thing to be alone. And the reason why it's a good thing to be alone is it's where the growth comes into play. A great example of this is I had a buddy of mine call me this past Monday morning, and we, talked before work. And he's doing great. He's very successful. He's one of my best friends, and I love him to death. But at times, too, he even admits, he goes, I have a lot of negative self-talk, and it's hard for me to be alone. And it kind of got me thinking to the point where you can almost have, everything, if you will, from the outside. As in, you could have the nice house, you could have the nice car, you could have X, Y, and Z things, but you can still be, not happy. And why is that? It's because you don't spend the time with yourself. You don't spend enough time alone. Because you guys can have all the money in the world, you can have the best wife or husband in the world, you can have the best partner in the world, whether it be boyfriend, girlfriend, you can have the best job in the world, you can have all the money in the world. I'm telling you, none of that matters if you're not happy being alone. So being comfortable being alone, guys, is I think a talent that is very, very hard to come by. But some things, again, I think that if you guys really do challenge yourself, turn off the phone, turn off the laptop, turn off the podcast, turn off the YouTube, turn off the Spotify, heck, don't even read, stop reading. Being alone, and you want to learn about yourself. And I'm telling you, the only way you can learn about yourself is simply by being alone. So the first example and first kind of lesson, if you will, is the reason why being comfortable, being alone and being comfortable, that is an important thing, is because that builds solitude. Well, what is solitude? Solitude, in my eyes, is doing things that you love or doing things that you enjoy, but doing them by yourself. So that a great example for me is I love to work out. Now some people need a lifting partner, some people need a gym community to push them. I've never needed that. My solitude, if you will, is early in the morning. 2:33 in the morning. I'm working out always before the workday, getting my mind right. And a lot of you guys are like, oh my gosh, 2 o'clock, 3 in the morning, that's ridiculous. The reason why I work out so early is because it's totally quiet. There's no one outside. There's no one awake yet. It's just me in my own head. And a lot of people can't deal with their own emotions. I'll tell you right now, the more I've spent alone by working out and just being in that kind of like solitude state, if you will, I've learned so much more about myself, and I've become so much more confident because I don't need a cell phone to, distract me. I don't need, a computer to distract me. Heck, I don't even need certain vices like drugs or alcohol to distract me. I am totally happy with my own thoughts because I have spent enough time alone to grow as a person. So the biggest lesson here, guys, is when you are alone and when you are able to be comfortable being alone, you get this thing called solitude. And solitude can come in so many different fashions, so many different ways. But I encourage you, and I stress this to you guys, continue to practice solitude and continue to practice being alone. Because again, the only way you're going to be comfortable by being alone is by simply isolating yourself and being alone. It's it's not a bad thing to stay in on a Friday or Saturday night. I know half of you guys watching this video, I'm sure maybe they like to go out every single weekend. And hey, going out every single weekend is a good thing, but challenge yourself. Try to stay in. Try to stay have a night into yourself. Watch a movie. Chill out. Be by yourself, man. Because I tell you, man. I mean, I have a lot of fun on the weekends. I don't get me wrong. I like to have a blast. But man, Friday and Saturday nights, there's no better Friday and Saturday night when I'm just at home alone doing absolutely nothing. That is the best. And a lot of people can't do that. So I challenge you guys to be able to do that and to be able to be comfortable being alone in that state. The second thing in terms of why being alone and being comfortable with that is so important is because that's also where growth comes into play. I think it's very fair to say there are so many distractions out there. And when you are alone with your own thoughts, you're able to really grow as a person. The reason why I say that is because here's an example. Is because an example is I had a really tough start to the new year. You know, I had a lot of things not go my way, business wise and personal life wise. You know what I mean? I had a really, really tough going to start the new year. And I knew this was a message for me to grow as a man and to grow as a person. So instead of distracting myself and trying to, find myself in a book or try to find myself in other people, I simply just isolated myself from my friends and family, just for like not in a bad way. I just simply said, hey, I'm going to take time for myself and I'm going to stick with this right here, and I am going to be alone for a while. And in doing that, guys, and in working on being alone and in working on being with my own thoughts, I was really able to grow as a person because I would go on walks by myself. I would hang out by myself. I would make myself stay in on Friday and Saturday nights, and I would literally do absolutely nothing. And the point was because when I am alone, and I know everyone gets this way, when I am alone, that's where that anxiety and that stress comes in. And instead of me running away from it, I actually wanted to challenge myself and see why I was getting these thoughts. And, I'm telling you right now, when you are alone and you're comfortable being alone, you're able to understand why you get this way in terms of anxiety and stress, and you're able then to fight that feeling, if you will, and you're able to become a better person through growth. So the first two biggest lessons about being comfortable being alone is you have to build solitude by doing things on your own and growing on your own. Again, solitude, when I say solitude, I mean doing stuff on your own, whether that's reading, walking, working out, whatever. And then the growth comes into play when you actually sit with your own thoughts and emotions and actually deal with it instead of actually hiding from it. And I'm telling you right now, guys, the other best thing too about when you're on this journey of self growth and when you're becoming a higher value man is once you master those first two things, you're then really able to find out about yourself. And that's the third lesson here. When I was kind of on my journey of solitude and on my journey of growth, I made it a point that I wasn't going to ask anyone for help. I wasn't going to reach out to anybody because I wanted to really dig down into my inner being to see why I was not confident, to see why I was struggling through certain things, to see why I was going to these certain challenges. And in the depths of darkness, if you will, in the depths of despair or stress or anxiety, I really did find out so much more about myself. I understood why I would latch on to things, why I have a very addictive personality. I understood a lot better about myself in terms of my certain behaviors and the way I kind of speak and the way I kind of am. And again, all those things I wouldn't have found out if I wasn't alone and wasn't with my own thoughts. There is nothing wrong with being alone, guys. And I think nowadays our culture and our generation really thinks when you're alone, it's a bad thing. Again, it is a good thing because those are the three best things I can tell you. You're going to have a lot of solitude. You're going to gain a lot of solitude. You're going to get a lot of growth from it, guys, and you are going to find out a ton about yourself. And I feel like finding out about yourself is the best way to grow. Because I think all of us can agree when you are in a crowd or a group of people or whatever, and you're hanging out with people and just not doing the work within yourself, you're never going to grow as a person. When you finally put your foot down and you say, hey, you know what? Enough of this nonsense. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to choose to be alone. I'm going to choose to do things on my own. I'm going to choose to grow. I'm going to choose to stay in solitude. You're going to find out much more about yourself. And I'm telling you right now, man, I've had spurts in my life in 2019 and 2021 and 2023 and the 2024 where I've really focused on just being by myself and growing. And every time I'm on my own and by myself, I come back a much better person, a much different person, and someone that's just honestly ready to take on the world. And the biggest thing I want to tell you guys too is that there's nothing wrong with being alone. I think I kind of touched on this like a minute or two ago, but in our society, people always kind of say, you shouldn't be alone. It's not right to be alone, blah, blah, blah. It's nonsense. Be alone, Do the hard work on yourself and step up to the plate. If you're watching this video and you're like, you know what, I'm not happy with who I am. I'm not happy with the way I look. I'm not happy when I'm alone. I'm not happy with this, not happy with that. Make the change. Spend time by yourself, because this is the best thing ever. When you're alone and you're doing the hard things and you're not chasing anything, you're just working on yourself, you oftentimes attract a great quote about being alone. We don't want to butcher it, but one of the quotes that I thought was really good was that if you spend your time making a beautiful garden, butterflies will come to that garden. And if no butterflies come to that garden, guess what? You're still going to have a beautiful garden and or foundation. Point I'm trying to say, guys, is when you spend this time alone, you actually are making something so unique and so special. And what you're making is you. You're making yourself. You're making the person that you've always been meant to be. And once you live to your highest potential and your most true calling, you're going to fly, man. But again, that's really all I have today. More of a shorter episode today, guys, because there really is no, special thing about being alone. It's important to do. It's something that I will always stress. It's something that I think needs to be done often. And it's something that I think a lot of our society does not promote enough. But the best thing I can leave you guys with is be comfortable being alone, be comfortable in your own skin, be comfortable with the person that you are, and that is where the growth will take place. Continue to grow, continue to get better. And I'm telling you, the best way to do that is by isolating yourself and by being able to be happy with what's up here. Because if you master what's up here, you're going to master everything else around you. Your mind will control your body and your thoughts and your emotions. So continue to think positive, continue to practice being on your own, and continue being the best version of yourselves. Again, guys, I want to thank you just for sticking with me, guys, and watching these podcasts. I appreciate your guys' support as always, and you guys just being an awesome group of people that support me and watch me. I hope you all have a great week, and let's continue to get after it, and let's continue to get better every single day. Remember, there is nothing wrong with being alone, and I challenge everyone watching this video to do things on their own and really search down into their inner psyche and ask yourself, who are you as a person? Who are you as a man? Who are you as a woman? And I think you guys are going to be pretty surprised and pretty amazed at the answer you'll find. But I thank you guys as always. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you in next week's episode. All right. See ya.